Hey everybody, Lisa Kessler, Kessler Insurance, and I am here for Cheers for Charity New Hampshire with the fabulous Joanne Birchuk. Hey Joanne.
Joanne Birchuk with Lighthouse Physical Therapy, and today we would like to introduce you to Kathy with Plates for Change, and looking forward to hearing all about your organization. So Kathy, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
Great. Thanks so much for having me, guys, and giving us a chance to talk about Plates for Change. We are dedicated. Basically, our mission is to end childhood hunger on the Seacoast, to make sure that all children have access to the healthy food they need to thrive. So not just any food, but healthy food, to help them grow and learn. So we do this by working with, we put on events and work with support grant recipients that are all working in different ways to end childhood hunger. So for instance, we work with Gather, which I think most people are familiar with, doing unbelievable things and feeding so many people and just, growing need, especially through COVID. And then Footprints Food Pantry. And then we also work with organizations like Seacoast Eat Local, which looks to kind of connect people with local food, support people at farmers markets, help SNAP dollars go farther. We support through New Hampshire Food Bank the Cooking Matters program. Are you guys familiar with that? So Cooking Matters is a program where kids go into an after school program, or they either in their school or like a community center, and they learn to cook food from scratch and bring in the ingredients. You have a nutrition person, you have a chef person, and they're helping the kids understand how to cook the food. They break into teams and make different meals. I've actually volunteered in the program, and it's really cool. And it's empowering to kids because it teaches them how to make the food from scratch. We talk about shopping on a budget, introduce them to a lot of vegetables, fruits and vegetables, talked about the importance of healthy eating, things like that. So we support all different programs like that are working in different ways to end childhood hunger. And 68 Hours of Hunger is a program that gives kids backpacks to take home for those 68 hours that they're not in school over the weekends. So we're basically working with a bunch of different grant recipients. So we have 9 for 2023, and then we'll revisit that for 2024. Excuse me. So our board is, we have about 20 people on our board, and a lot of them have been around since the first one, since actually 1994 when we first started. We've got three or four people that have been around since then. And we are, so it started out in, we're all volunteers. So it started out with a group of restaurant owners and volunteers getting together to put on a Taste of the Nation event with No Kid Hungry. This was back in 1994. I think the event raised like $8,000, and then kept doing that event for years and years, raised over $2 million over the years to support our grants. And in 2019, we decided to break off and become our own local organization, Plates for Change. So went through the process of, creating our logo and website, and it was all those same board members who decided to do that, and started to get ready for our first big event, the Taste, in June. So this was November of 2019, and then of course COVID happened, so we got squashed a little bit and couldn't do our event in 2020 or 2021, but we were able to do it in 2022, and it was amazing. Have you guys been to the Taste? Are you familiar with it? Yeah. So just for people who aren't, it's a big event that we put on in Strawberry Bank. It's usually around the time of the solstice in June. We've had as many of 1,000 people, including the chefs and beer vendors and volunteers, and people attending. We did scale it back a little this year with COVID concerns, but basically everyone gathers under a tent. Chefs donate their time, and beer and wine vendors. We have 100 people come in and volunteer to help with the event, manning trash and parking and everything like that. and raises the money for our grant recipients. And we have corporate sponsors that help us to pay for the events. So the huge amount of things involved in that, the tent, the band, we have Soul City Band that comes, and it's just a great way of connecting community. We do a lot to educate people at the event. So we'll have up information about our grant recipients and what they're doing. We also have additional ways for people to donate. One of our board members this year set up different statistics of how your money could be used to help different initiatives where people could donate additional money right there, which was fantastic. So that's our big event that we put on. And then we have some smaller events that we do, smaller dinners and things like that. And we actually have a really cool event coming up in March. It's going to be an adult prom that we're really excited about.
I just saw something about that.
Did you see it?
Where's that going to be? Well, I saw it on social media and I was like, oh, prom. Wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, well, we were looking for something, we want to do events throughout the year, and we were looking for something fun, something to do in the winter time. And so it's going to be a Kittery dance hall. Basically that, an adult prom, but we'll have like light snacks and beverages and lots of dancing and voting for homecoming king and queen, and it's just going to be a really fun event. And the details will be going up. I know we've posted a little bit on social media, just some teasers, but we'll be putting up some information on our website about the event in the next week or so, and then we'll have a link for tickets so people can attend. So yeah,
that sounds like a lot of fun. Can I go back and ask you something as far as like the contacts with the other organizations? It sounds like you guys work with a whole lot, but how does are you mostly supporting those organizations, or are you supporting like individuals that need help with food, or finding maybe the right organizations to work with?
No, we're supporting them. So we're supporting Gather in their mission. I mean, some of us volunteer there. They have a huge, extensive list of different volunteer opportunities. So we do sometimes volunteer with those organizations, but we are basically supporting them. Like, we're looking around in the community and kind of vetting organizations and saying, okay, who is connected to our mission? We've added some in the past, we'll revisit again for 2024 and say, is there anybody, in the community doing something new that we want to support? But we basically look for organizations that are fighting the fight, doing the policy work, doing the education, feeding kids, and support them through raising money. We have a donation button on our website that people can go to if they want to donate. So yeah, it's basically supporting those organizations. But we're also trying in our own right, since we became Place to Change, to do some of our own education. We have a little bit up there now, like just recipes, the information about gardening. We want to expand that to, how do you shop healthy on a budget? When you go to the grocery store, how can you save money on food costs, which we all know we all need right now. But the number of people who are struggling to pay their bills and get food on the table is growing. Especially
every little bit helps these days with the rising costs, and that's all great information.
Yeah, so we're trying to, help with policy change. Organizations like New Hampshire Farm to School are doing a lot to try to get farmers' food into the local schools. And there's there was a bill that actually came out, I think it was yesterday, or it's coming up, I'm not sure, but it was to give schools a refund or a tax credit if they did a certain amount of local foods through farms. So a policy change like that makes a huge difference. So yeah.
Now, did you say there was a third event also? I think I had kind of cut you off. So you have the big event in June, you have the adult prom coming up, and I thought you said there was one more, and I don't know
Adult
that we
prom
got to
coming
that.
up. Yeah, we're brainstorming for newer events. We want to do some smaller events throughout the year. Once we get done with the adult prom, it'll be kind of going into planning mode for the taste, because that is a tremendous amount of work to get that going and get our chefs together and get everything set up for that. And then we're hoping to do something again in the fall. We've done some smaller dinners. We've done that Share Your Love dinner in the past. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but those are more, we would pick a venue and then a couple of different chefs would contribute different portions of the meal and people would come in smaller groups. Again, all supporting those same grant recipients. But yeah, well, trying to grow the number of events that we do.
Is it
Well,
always?
and I'm a big food lover, so anything around food, I'm in.
Yeah, well, the taste is just incredible. Like, it just, the energy that it brings together with people of, I think this year we sold 600 tickets in front of, instead of 800, don't quote me on that, but trying to keep it smaller through COVID, but just the energy of the people who are there. And even like with all of the hardships that restaurants have been through the last few years, you know, almost all of them showed up and wanted to do it, except the ones that really had staffing issues and said, we just can't do it this year. But just, you know, unbelievable how the community comes together, and people were so excited that we were having the event, and just the feedback has been amazing. And, you know, to be able to deliver like a good amount of money to the grant recipients, we tried to deliver those checks in person right around Thanksgiving, and then just meet with them in person. We have one person who connects with our grant recipients and is working to hear the new things they're doing, hear about volunteer opportunities, but just to connect with them and see what new programs they have and what they have going on and what's new in their organization. It's just really rewarding.
That's fantastic. So how do you decide what grant recipients you're going to support each year?
So we've kept the same ones that we had in 2019 because we have this stall, but we are planning to have, and we were working in conjunction with No Kid Hungry in the past. So we are going to set up an application on our website. So we're planning to do that in the fall. So it's for the funds for next year. So that people can apply. And I think we all believe really strongly in the grant recipients grants that we have right now and the work that they're doing, but certainly always open to adding more in the future.
That's awesome. It's so nice to know that you're supporting these important organizations, and some of them are some of our families in Cheers for Charity, right? The N68s and the Gathers and
Yeah.
Seacoast Eat Local, you know, like all of those people are people that we love and think are doing such great things.
Yeah, well, Gather is so when we decided to become our own nonprofit, Gather really helped us. Like, they were really excited and behind the change. So we worked really closely with them and we're kind of under their umbrella. So they helped us maneuver a lot of the things. Like I said, we are all volunteers, so we're doing this in our spare time, and we're like, okay, we want to do this, but how do we do it? And you know, how do we make this process happen? So they have been super instrumental in that, and it's just been incredible to see how they've grown. And seeing like Footprints Food Pantry, they are amazing in the work that they're doing and how they're expanding and the reach of people that they have and the way they're making food more accessible. It's an amazing community. Both the grants that we support and just all of the ones that you guys have talked to. Like I said, I looked through some of the different organizations and I was like, wow, I didn't know this existed. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's so good. So if Kathy, if people want to get involved in Plates for Change, first of all, what do you need, you know, from the community? Are you looking for volunteers? Are you looking for donors? Are you looking for, what are you looking for?
So all of those things. So people can go to our website and we have a couple of different ways. We do have volunteers at our event. You know, we'll have some at the adult prom in March, but as I said, we have about 100, lots of them long-term volunteers that we touch base with. But if someone wants to volunteer for the event, they can do that, fill out a form on our website. And then when it comes closer, they'll get an email about that. They can donate on our website. There is a link to donate. We are currently looking for a few more people on our board. So if someone is interested, they can contact us and we can hear about their interest and what area of expertise they might have, and see if that might be a good fit. We mostly have people who haven't left, but we did have a few people move during COVID. And so we are looking to replace a few new people, but yeah, you can learn, and people can learn more about each of our grant recipients on our site. There's a link to all of them. So for instance, if they say, oh, I want to support Gather, they can go on and link up there and connect to their different volunteer opportunities by going to our site. Any organization that's looking for volunteers.
That's fantastic. I'll be honest, I had been to Taste last year. It was fantastic.
Yeah, last year was just this incredible energy. I think like we were also, first of all, so energetic, but there was a little bit of, maneuvering since we had gone out to be our own nonprofit. It was like the first time forging through it and having a couple of starts and stops, but just like the energy of the community, the excitement in people. And yeah, it was a perfect day, which always helps, and it's 75 degrees and sunny. And
yeah, it was social, it was good food, there was drink, it was just really nice. So
was that the first time you'd been there?
Yeah, that was my first one, and it was fantastic. So
yeah, it's really fun. I have 3 kids and they've all started volunteering, and when you volunteer you get to come to the event, so they've come to the event as well. And so it's like a family event, but it's just, yeah, it is amazing.
Well, I think the work that you do is incredibly important. Thank you so much for sharing all this with us today. We're
Thanks
hoping
for having me.
Someone will watch this and want to engage, whether it's through donation or volunteering or attending the events. And we're grateful to have you here as part of our Cheers for Charity family now.
Thank you so much. Great meeting you guys.
Take care.